Adrian and welcome to the Facebook Live on Wednesday. Today it's all about bridging the gap, and wherever you are with your customer, wherever they are on your customer journey, there's a gap between where they are now and where you want them to be, the next place you want them to be. And to try and get them to cross that gap, we need to be able to do something. Now, the bigger the gap, the lower the success rate you'll have of getting your customers across that gap, because people won't be able to make the gap. They'll sort of come a bit short and they'll stumble or fall, whatever it is, but they'll fall by the wayside and they won't be able to make the gap. So your job is to help your audience, whether they're an existing customer or a new customer, to bridge that gap and continue on the journey with you in your business. So that sort of fairly makes sense. I think that's fairly obvious for most people. Here's the thing though. What we need to make sure is that those steps are very elegant, simple steps, obvious next steps for our customers to take. Because if we're confusing them or making it too complicated or too difficult, then in this modern world, when everything's sort of so easy to get, they're going to go away and try and find somewhere easier to get it. So we've got to remove any barriers. And those barriers could be physical barriers or emotional barriers. And in sales, we talk about handling objections. So getting rid of their objections, making sure that the next step for them is an easy step to take. And the most powerful tool that we've got in our kit box, if you like, to be able to do that is telling stories, actually engaging them in a story that helps them make that transition from A to B. But there are some real mistakes that people make about here. The biggest mistake is they think the bridge story is about them. It's not. When I introduce myself and I start saying to people, hey, this is me, this is what I do, and this is how I'm sort of going on in the world, and this is my experience and my journey, that's my story, that is about me. Then there's the customer story that's all about them. Now, I don't necessarily tell the customer story, but I have to know the customer story. And then the bridge story is where I bring the customer story together to link it to my experiences in some shape or form, and then transmit to them a way forward, the elegant step that they can take through that story, which may be literally just to take the next step, to download something or to make a call or do something simple or to buy a product. And maybe it doesn't matter which step it may be, but that's the process we've got to go through. So mistakes that people make is they make it about them, not the customer. Well, that's just not nuts, because, you know, if you're telling a story to your children at night at bed, most of us had kids at some point in our life, or told stories to young kids, you engage them in the story, you involve them in it, because by doing that, they get more engaged, they get more motivated, and they play better. So you've got to engage the customer in the story. And the second mistake people make is they focus on the features and benefits. Now, features and benefits are important. They're part of your product or your service, but they're not part of the bridge story. The bridge story is all about the customer. It's taking their hand, it's leading them by the hand across the step. The worst thing you can do at that point is try to convince people or try to persuade people. It does work to a certain degree. Hard selling, you can push people into that space. You can push people across the gap or drag them across the gap. But in the end, that's going to come unstuck, because what we're looking for is long-term, deep, profound, really good relationships with our customers, so that they become our clients and then our raving fans. So we want to make sure we're taking care of them all the way across the journey. So what are the myths? Well, there's one myth, which is that a story has to be dramatic and amazing and outstanding. Well, it doesn't. It just has to be real. It doesn't have to be sensational. It has to be real. It has to be genuine. It has to be authentic. So how does it look? Well, there's your story. So that's your story about you, which is your hero's journey, if you like. How you overcame the struggle. How you can empathise with your customer. How you can make them realise, oh my God, yeah, that person really understands my situation. Whatever that may be, whether you're an architect and you explain to them, yes, I understand what you want to achieve. So they really get, oh, he's heard me, he's understood me, he's listened to my part of the story. And it makes sure that your story is always relevant to your customer. It's no good telling a story that may be a fantastic story and really powerful, but if it has no relevance to the pains and the customer story, then it's pointless. It's not going to go anywhere. And then there's their story. Now, their story that's important for this process is, if you like, their complaint about life, their worries, their pains, their desires, their aspirations. So when a customer has a pain, most customers are going to be more interested in moving away from something they don't like than moving towards something they do like. So a pain is more powerful than an aspiration, but they both work. You just have to use them slightly differently. And then you come to the bridge story, and the bridge story is about how you engage that customer. Now, I was thinking about what example I was going to use today, and if you go onto LinkedIn, I can't remember who it was. Maybe I'll try and find the link to the video and post it as well. But there's a bit of a video from Simon Sinek where he's talking about, the nature of marketing and how it's all the same. And he uses the example of a beggar on the street and Microsoft. Now, Microsoft have these big billboards up saying it's got this much RAM, this much ROM, this much speed, blah, blah, blah. Features and benefits, right? Nothing about me, the customer. And normally when you see someone on the street begging, they've got a sign saying, I'm hungry, I'm poor, I'm homeless, I'm something. It's about them. And so he did an experiment, and he went and, with the permission of somebody who's on the street, said, look, can I change your sign? And he rewrote their sign. Now, normally, the person he was talking to would probably make a good day would be about $30 a day. This is in America, $30 a day. And what he did was change the sign, and in the first 2 hours, that person made $40 in 2 hours, not a whole day. So their earning rate went up massively. And the point he made was that that homeless person was actually selling goodwill. Because when you walk past a homeless person, if you give money, you feel good about yourself, right? If you don't give money, you either feel embarrassed or awkward, or you may feel like, well, they're not genuine, or you just want to get out of the way. But there's some emotion going on you, which is not necessarily positive. So he changed the sign. Instead of saying, I'm poor, I'm needy, it said, if you give only once a month, please think of me next time. Now, what happened for that person on the street was they suddenly got $40 in 2 hours. Because instead of people going, oh my God, it's all about the person, the message was to me saying, if I give more than once a month, could I think about the person on the street next time? It was directed at me, it was about me, I was involved in that story. Very simple switch, nothing dramatic, no big sensational thing, just very simple. And it had the impact because it engaged the person walking by in taking action. It inspired them, it motivated them. So we have to just think about it and look at what are the simple steps we need to do to make our story really powerful. So you've got to know your customer. The person on the street knows how the person walking, well, Simon Sinek knew how the person walking past was feeling because they have embarrassment, discomfort, etc. So they're giving them something to focus on, them saying, hey, it's okay not to give today because maybe you only give once a month and maybe you don't know that I'm genuine. And you address those two objections in that simple statement. So you've got to know the customer. You've got to get up close and personal. You've got to understand their emotions, what they're feeling. The second thing is you've got to be really clear about the outcome that you're committed to achieving. What is the result you want for you, for your business, for the customer? What is that going to happen? What's it going to look like? And when you understand those two things, what you then do is you put your customer front and center and you bring those two things into the story so that that person suddenly feels part of the journey and can clearly see by what, if they take the next step, what's going to happen next, where they're going to end up. And that's what we're trying to do all the time. We're trying to give the customer a really, really clear next step so that they can take that simple next step and arrive at the next place and feel confident, and that's how they're going to get there. So that's it for today. That's the bridge story. And, I know that you are time-starved, you've got lots of things going on, and you keep trying to handle problems, all of us do in business, and maybe those problems don't go away. So I'd invite you, instead of next time just cracking on and trying to do it all yourself, why not just jump on the phone with me and have a call with me and see if I can give you another way of looking at it. So next time you are feeling a bit stuck, instead of just carrying on and busting on and trying to break through the barriers yourself, give me a call. So if you are feeling a bit stuck in your business and you'd like to just find out if there's a way forward, then have a free Kickstarter call with me. Hope you've enjoyed it today. Bye for now.